Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Gen Z watching old television shows, and Hollywood is in full-on panic mode because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Well,
yeah, because they want the older stuff. We've talked about it before. They don't want the new shows. There's a couple new shows. I mean, that's not all new shows. There's a couple new shows that are doing really well.
There's a couple.
They'd rather watch Friends, than the new shows.
Well, I'd rather watch Friends than the new shows, and I don't even like Friends that much.
Yeah, so I know, right?
I am not surprised because we're seeing Gen Z and Gen Alpha by some degree going back to older stuff, whether it's video games or, analog media, books, vinyl records, and they're also going back to television. And let's be honest, I mean, there are some good new shows. I'm not trying to say there aren't any good new shows, but it really seems like they're fewer and further between, and they're a lot shorter too. It's hard to binge a season of 6 episodes, right? And then you gotta wait 3 more years for another 6 episodes. It's kind of ridiculous. We used to make fun of the British for that. I remember we get their BBC shows on PBS over here, for those of you across the pond, and it'd be like, oh yeah, here's like a season of this show, but it was like 5 or 6 episodes, and then you have to wait like 2 years for more episodes. I'm like, what the hell kind of season is that? Our shows are like 20 to 26 episodes every year. Not all of them were winners, right? But
no,
you knew
they
every
weren't
week.
all winners, no.
But you knew every week you had, probably, unless it was the holidays or something, you had new TV to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you got woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com if you're looking for more Clownfish TV. Help support the channel. We're going to be adding all kinds of stuff here going into 2026. And we're old. You can watch us.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just talk about this real quick, and then we'll get into what they're actually watching. But they're saying that Hollywood is freaking the hell out because a lot of these new shows that are geared toward Gen Z in particular are not taking off.
No, just shows in general. Like, there are people watching new shows, but a lot of the new shows are not that popular in comparison. One, I think there's too many. The reason the other ones are pop culture phenomenons and people still like them to this day is because they didn't have as many. And now with streaming, there's too many, I think.
They're trying very hard to create like a Gen Z Friends or Gen Z. They're talking about Gilmore Girls or Sex and the City.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls is really popular right now, yeah.
But here's the difference, right? The difference back in the day is people pitched an idea and the executives at the studio liked it or didn't like it. Some of the shows that wound up being a huge hit were not well liked by executives at first. It was a hard sell. But they pitched the shows they wanted to make, they thought would resonate with a lot of people. Now it just looks like they're trying to analyze the marketplace and be like, well, we need a Gen Z comedy because Gen Z loves comedies like the Gilmore Girls, but we have to do a new one.
You don't have to do a new one. That's the kicker, though. You don't need it. They want to watch the old stuff, but then they don't make money that way unless it's something that's like serialized or whatever. So
right,
or whatever they call that. But so they're like trying to manufacture one, but it's not working because just like they want to go back to the 80s, just like they want to go back to the malls and all that kind of stuff and retro games. They want the old shows. Like, they just wish they were in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I can't blame you.
Yeah, I wish it was still the 90s. We saw a commercial the other day on streaming, and they have a 90s channel. And they're like, would you like to undo the last, 3 decades of bullshit to watch 90s TV? And I'm like, yeah. And it is a simpler time. And I think people want that. But what's weird is we see so many people nostalgic for an era they did not personally experience. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, a lot of those TV shows are not accurate. It wasn't what it was actually like. In fact, if some of the shows accurately represented what was like living in the 80s, 90s, they were usually dramas, and they're kind of depressing. But the sitcoms, you can't go by that, man. Like, it's, not everybody's living, like I said, we talked about before, now everybody's living in this, freaking 10,000 square foot loft apartment in Manhattan.
Yes. I work as a waitress.
I work as a waitress, So let's see here. We've got a list of what are the most watched shows so far in 2025. And a lot of them are old shows.
Mm-hmm.
This come from MSN. Bluey.
Yeah, no surprise there.
But I think a lot of Gen Z are probably watching Bluey too. Millennials are watching it too.
Actually, Bluey's good for everybody.
Bluey's good for everybody, yeah. Not to be confused with Blue Balls. That's the follow-up from the same studio.
Yeah,
they're doing a follow-up about a kid that's gay that wants to get with it. I'm like, yeah, that's the follow-up. Anyway,
it's true.
That'd be funny if it was. Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that one's still so popular, but it is.
These are all boomer shows. NCIS.
My dad, huge NCIS fan. Like, dude loves NCIS. Has watched every episode probably multiple times.
Which one? Because there are like 45. It's like Law and Order.
Yeah.
It's like, what
Law and Order on here? No.
Law and Order New York, Law and Order LA, Law and Order Arkansas. I don't know. Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, SpongeBob. Well, we know that. Like, everybody still watches SpongeBob. The Big Bang Theory. Oh, God, shoot me. The Rookie. That we'll talk about that because Rookie is apparently huge with Gen Z, which I don't understand. But okay.
I like Nathan Fillion, so yay.
Yeah. Squid Game.
Yeah, I knew that. Our kids all
Law and Order.
I just said Law and Order on there. SVU. I just said that.
Reacher. American Dad, Criminal Minds, The Night Agent. I have never heard of The Night Agent.
I have seen the parts of it. I haven't got to watch the whole thing.
Supernatural, White Lotus.
Popular.
Yeah, it is. Friends, Gunsmoke.
Okay, that makes you happy.
That does. So my grandfather and I used to watch Westerns every Sunday on what is it now? Freeform. And before that, it was ABC Family. And before that was
something else.
Fox Family. And before that, it was Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN.
And every Sunday they used to have Westerns nonstop all day. It was Westerns. And Gunsmoke was one of his favorites. So we used to watch Gunsmoke all the time. I know the difference between Festus and Chester.
Young Sheldon is number 19, which also ties to the Big Bang Theory. And then our son also loves Young Sheldon and South Park. So those are those are the ones that people are watching the most. Those are the most streamed. Now, some of them have a lot of episodes. So you could argue like, oh, well, if you watch
they're going by the minutes.
Right. But they're like the most streamed. And most of the lists, even if you look at other lists, a lot of these are on it. There might be some other ones, but a majority of them are old shows.
Yeah.
Older shows.
Yeah. And like, what's wrong with that? Like I said before, if I were young now, if I were, just starting out, I would just go buy myself a $200, $300 TV from Walmart with Roku or Tubi, and I wouldn't even pay for shit. I just watch old stuff because they've got it on. They have like a Gunsmoke network on Roku. You can watch it round the clock. I think, Big Bang Theory.
I watch A-Team and sometimes,
A-Team, Knight Rider. Yeah, it depends.
Do you love that?
We kind of cycle them.
But, I'm looking at this list, and except for a couple of them that they're currently going on with new episodes or they are new shows like The Rookie or Reacher or whatever, most of these are older shows.
Yeah.
They're done. They've done their run. A lot of them are from, 10 plus years ago.
This is weird. Okay, so this is I will be honest, I have never watched an episode of The Rookie.
I have. I've watched some of it. I haven't caught up with it, but I like Nathan Fillion, so I started watching it. And I only saw like the first season or so. I haven't had time to watch more, but it wasn't bad.
Castle was good.
I liked Castle, yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch Castle. He was pretty good. I love when they made fun of Firefly in Castle, where he put the uniform back. That was pretty cool. This is coming from Pajiba. The Rookie was a millennial dad show until Gen Z made it a hit. One friend's teenage daughter's favorite show is The Rookie, the Nathan Fillion cop show. His daughter's 14. That might sound strange, but actually tracks with the stats. In June, for instance, The Rookie was the 5th most popular show among teenagers 13 to 17. What the hell is going on?
You go, Nathan Fillion.
That's why they went to go see Superman. It had nothing to do with Superman.
Honestly.
It was Guy Gardner.
I can't say I blame you. But
You know what? Oh my God. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that's why they were pushing Guy Gardner. You think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. They were pushing Guy Gardner into promotional stuff because the kids, the Gen Z, are watching The Rookie. Oh my God. I didn't know this.
It's clicked. Grey's Anatomy and The Office. The Office. Our kids absolutely love The Office. They've watched it like 2 or 3 times straight through.
I like The Paper because I lived it.
Yeah, we have to finish watching that. Yeah. It's funny too. One thing our son really likes to watch and has watched a bunch of lately is X-Files. The X-Files in the 90s, is everybody's watching that. People are watching that again. It's just they're all going back to these shows, which is funny because we've talked about this. Like, you guys are thinking the strikes are going to do something, and you said before, there's just so much TV that was much better TV that have years and years of it. You could never completely watch all of it, and that's what they're doing. They're going back to the simpler time shows, the shows that are more iconic and more heard of, like, because there wasn't as many to compete against each other. They were the actual water cooler discussion shows like we used to do. And they just want that. And they're going back to what's good. And they're just ignoring the new stuff that they're just like, don't care.
This is just, it's wild to me. And hey, you guys, if you're Gen Z and you're listening, you want a good 90s show. I know I keep recommending it, but not enough people. What's that?
Here we go.
Here we go.
I know Northern Exposure. Northern Exposure.
Which is probably one of the best TV shows ever made. In my opinion, it was ahead of its time. It still holds up. Good. It still holds up today. They dropped the ball at the ending, though. They should have just ended the show and Rob Morrow left. But it is, when you think when the show was made in 1990. It started in 1990, and it was so far ahead of the curve. And you can see like so much of shows that came later, like Parks and Rec, that kind of humor. Really kind of like and intelligent. It was intelligent writing, and the characters were well developed and everything, and it was very diverse. And we didn't call attention to that all the time, or if we did, sometimes it was the butt of a joke or whatever. But it was so far ahead of the curve, and I think that's why it didn't do very well, because it was too far ahead. It was like the show should have been made 20 years later, and it would have been a much bigger hit, in my opinion. So it needs to be TikToked. It is a good show. It needs to be TikToked so we can. Get people watching this show,
and really then they likes that show.
Then they can bring it back in zombie form, and it'll be horrible. Don't do. I don't want
them to bring it back. Just don't tell them that. You could just stop to make the show popular, and then don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Just keep your filthy fingers off of all the old stuff. Don't reboot it. Don't make a new one. Don't do a reunion. No. Just be like, it's over. It's done. We don't need it again. We'll just stick with what's good. But you're all desperate because no one's watching your new stuff.
That's exactly it. And they said, the Rookie's popular because of TikTok with these kids. Grey's Anatomy, NCIS, Criminal Minds, New Girl, Parks and Rec.
Oh my God, kids also have Parks and Rec. New Girl, you used to watch New Girl, didn't you?
I started watching it, and then I kind of got bored. I was like, okay, I like the premise. And that happens a lot. I mean, look, when you get older and you have responsibilities and you've got things you got to do, sometimes it's a lot to ask a person like, hey, could you go binge these 10 seasons of this show and get back to me with a review? I'm like, how many hours of my life is that going to be? Like, I'll review movies and stuff, or if it's a new show where I can watch a couple episodes. But like, if you're like, hey, go back and watch all this and get back to me, I'm like, go back and watch all of Price is Right. And then you get back to me with a review. But you have to watch every episode.
If you don't watch it, you can't give a fair review. My dad's going to be thrilled, though, because NCIS, he just loves it. So that probably means there's going to be more NCIS stuff, which he will be thrilled to hear.
We are going to get to a place, I believe, where Hollywood is going to be like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because nobody wants to watch the new stuff. They're running into this with movies now. There are movies that people will go see, but they're event movies. There are re-releases that are doing better. Coming back to like the Star Wars prequels, episode 3 came back, and it actually was, I think it was the #1 movie that weekend. And people are going to go back to that. I mean, I think we've and this is what's so kind of depressing about it is, I think we've hit peak pop culture. I don't think we're ever going to have the communal experiences that we had in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, because everything is so fragmented right now.
I don't know if I agree, because I think that the Gen Z kids and stuff, they want that back. So I think that as they become, as they finally get in and get more control over things, they might go back to that. They might try to walk it back. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, I hope I'm right, but it's also very possible you're right.
Well, okay. So then here is a scenario, and this is just across the board. We're seeing a lot of Highlander going on, right? Mm-hmm. It is possible that Hollywood will shrink tremendously, and we will go back to only having a handful of shows that everybody watches, a handful of new shows produced every year, which is going to suck for the actors or whatever.
I don't know if it'll go that far, but yeah, that would be nice.
But you got to remember when back when we were kids, there really, I mean, there were a lot of shows on TV, but you really could look at a year in television, be like, oh yeah, these 20 shows were on or whatever that year in television. They're the only ones that mattered. And then syndication came along, and that kind of split things up more. But like everybody watched Friends, and I think people just got trained to, because they had Thursday night must see TV, and whatever NBC put on Thursday is what you watched, and it was those 3 or 4 shows. They were all hits because and they would put their most popular stuff, and that started going back. I think Cosby and Cheers did it first, and then after they retired those shows, they cycled in Friends, and then whatever was most popular they put on at the 8 o'clock slot. But we all talked about those at school. We'd watch a show. I remember talking to my friends about freaking Alf. Talking to my friends about freaking
yes.
Alf at school. Like, did you watch? I can't believe. I mean, this is how nerdy I am. Did you watch last night's episode of Alf? Wasn't it awesome? I almost thought he was going to get the cat this time. R.I.P. the kid that played the kid on Alf. He died in his car, penniless. That was horrible. Anyway,
yeah, but that happens a lot, sadly. But this is
Yeah,
interesting to me. They're talking about they want to watch Gilmore. Well, I knew Gilmore Girls was big again. Everything's Gilmore Girls. I've seen that lately. But MASH was a surprise to me.
Freaking love MASH. So yeah,
I used to
I'm
watch
good with
MASH
that.
as a kid too. My dad used to watch it. So I was.
It was
like,
old when we were kids.
I know.
It was like I remember the last episode vaguely, and it was like the biggest thing on TV ever. But at that point, the show was already old because it was already on for like friggin' 10 years.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at Grey's Anatomy, Supernatural, and Gilmore Girls are like really, and I knew all of those were. Grey's Anatomy surprised me. I did know it was popular, but it surprised me. But Gilmore Girls and Supernatural still like everybody keeps watching that more and more.
Yeah, so this isn't really a fair comparison, though, because they said that these shows are doing better on watch time than Stranger Things or Wednesday. And it's like, yeah, Grey's Anatomy had 452 episodes.
That's what I did mention that earlier. I said, I think that one's a little bit, and then CIS is like that too. I think that, people are watching all the episodes. But the point is, they're still watching all the episodes of that show instead of watching another show.
Yeah, Amanda, who's a 45-year-old in Georgia, she watches a lot of TV with her daughter, who's 13. She likes Gilmore Girls, Friends, I Love Lucy, Designing Women, and Golden Girls. And I know our daughter was going through a phase where she was watching a lot of older shows. I got to introduce her to That Girl. She watched that because they had it on like MeTV.
Oh, yeah, she did.
And so she was watching some of those older shows, and she liked them. And she's like, yeah, there's just like a certain something about it.
Well, even the 80s movies, like Stripes was on, wow, it was a little while ago, but Stripes was on, and she was like glued to it. And it's just like you start playing an older movie, they like him around like, I don't want to watch it. And then next thing you know, they're like, wait, I want to watch the rest of this first,
Yeah,
it's just interesting to me.
Stripes, I was trying to sell her on it. I'm like, okay, so it's like Ghostbusters, but they're in the army and there are no ghosts. But it's a good movie. And she was glued. She was actually upset the channel got changed, and she was kind of like, I want to watch the rest of Stripes. I'm like, we will sit down and watch all of Stripes someday. And then I will also introduce you to Private Benjamin.
I would have said Spies Like Us, but okay.
Spies Like Us. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. But there was, don't watch a Private Benjamin show though. It was dog shit. And they had a cartoon.
They had a cartoon of Private Benjamin?
They did. They had a cartoon of everything. They had a cartoon of Happy Days. They had a cartoon
I did know that.
Of Happy Days, and they time traveled, and they had a talking dog.
Okay, that I did not know. I did know Mr. T had a show.
Mr. T had a show. Punky Brewster had a show. Like a lot of times, they would have the like the adult version, and then the kid version would be on like Saturday morning. But in the case of Punky Brewster, it was like they already had a kid version of Punky Brewster.
It was the live action Punky Brewster.
And then they had a cartoon for Rubik's Cube too. Can you imagine if they made cartoons of like Friends, the cartoon show? Oh God, we're gonna give them ideas.
Don't give them ideas.
Gilmore Girls animated.
Don't give them ideas.
It could be really bad. Make it an anime. Turn Gilmore Girls into an anime. There you go. Give her some demons to fight or something.
They probably have, but they probably use it as inspiration, and it's called something else, but it was probably inspired by them. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up soon.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. So there you go, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.